Somebody cue Christopher Cross, because today Life with the Spectrum is taking you sailing. All aboard, right? You know, it's a couple layered here with our show because statistics, when it comes to kids with autism, they are 160 more times likely to drown than a neurotypical kid. And to learn water safety as well as a skill set, I mean, you look no further than Spectrum Sailing. With me today, Scott Herman, the founder of Spectrum Sailing. Hi, Scott. How you doing?
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Gina.
Thanks for being on the show. Scott, tell everyone a little bit about your family and how you came up with Spectrum Sailing.
Sure. Yep. So my wife and I have two boys. Daniel is 17. He is our autistic son. And then I have Joey, who is neurotypical. He's 13. They're both going to be in high school together this year. So it's kind of exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So my wife and I moved back to Charleston, South Carolina, about 8 years ago. And when we moved back, I tried to get Daniel signed up for sailing camp. And because of his diagnosis, there really weren't any camps in town that could accommodate him. And so after a year of that, my wife and I decided that we should do something about it. And so we started just a little local camp here in Charleston. That first year, we had 70 kids apply for 10 spots, and we both kind of realized there might be some real demand here. So originally, we were just going to run it locally, you know, a 1-week summer camp for local kids. And that has blossomed into what is now the only national autism sailing program.
I mean, and you're not just located in Charleston. I mean, you do these camps all over the country.
Correct. Now we do. Yes, it started just as a local program. This year, for example, we'll be in 12 different camps across the country, from California, all across the Midwest, Texas, Florida, all the way to Boston. And we'll have about 250 kids sail with us this year.
It sounds like you not only teach sailing as a skill set, right, but also in general water safety, right?
That's correct. We actually developed the first online water safety autism elopement type training. We hired a company called Aspiritech.
I just had them on the show.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're amazing people. So so all of our training for our autistic sailors was built by, autistic young adults from the tech side. So we were really happy to collaborate with them. They're amazing. So we share that training, across the country to make sure that our staff and the people that volunteer with us all understand the water safety piece. Our kids are not just yacht club kids that happen to have autism. These are kids that have never put on a life jacket, never walked on a dock, never been on a boat. So exposing them to the safety side of water and then show them that it's enjoyable and can be safe is really a pretty big part of our camp.
So walk me through a day at camp. Like, I arrive, I've got my water bottle and my lunch sack. Where do we go from here?
Yeah. Okay. Well, you come in and the first thing we do is a knot of the day. So each day we learn a different knot.
Oh.
So like the first day we learn the figure 8 knot. The second day we learn a square knot. And on the third day, we bring out the big sailor knot, the bowline. So every kid, we sit down at a table and our sailors are paired up and we're practicing our knots.
That's great for your motor skills.
Oh yeah. I had a mom in Florida come up to me after about 10 minutes of me getting her son to tie a knot. She says, "How did you do that?" And I said, "Well, I just showed him how to tie the knot." And she said, "He's been in physical therapy for like 18 months and can't do it." And I said, "Well, our setting is very different than a therapy setting." So, that day with Mr. Scott at class, he was successful tying a knot. So there we are. But we do knots first, and then we do a classroom session when everybody gets in. And very similar to neurotypical sailing camp. We teach parts of the boat. We teach points of sail. We talk about weather. We talk about how to make the boat go where you want it to go. And we do some things in the classroom that are really to build some friendships and some social skills. So every day, we start really with like a joke of the day, and then usually they boo at my horrible dad jokes. So, we give them homework to bring their own jokes. So every day we talk in the group about how we have to work together on the boats to make them go. And so there's a piece where each kid has an opportunity to participate, verbally. They tell us their favorite video game, or they tell us something about themselves, bring their joke. So we really get to know each other. And again, we're building friendships on top of just learning how to sail.
With me today, Scott Herman, the founder of Spectrum Sailing. When we get back, we're going to find out a little bit more about the partners of Spectrum Sailing. Stay with me.
Don's Tree Service is awesome.
Love Don's Tree Service. They've come out for a giant oak tree removal, another for some debris removal.
One thing I really appreciated about Don's Tree Service, they come, they take those trees down, and they take everything away.
For a free estimate, call Don's Tree Service, 770-413-TREE, or find them online at donstree.com.
Welcome back to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli. With me today, the founder of Spectrum Sailing, Scott Herman. Scott, again, thank you for being on the show. You have to tell everybody, who are your partners? You partner with so many great people.
Right. So in each of our cities, it depends kind of who we work with, but we work nationally. We work with SPARC, which is a national research genetic research study. And so through that, we've been able to work with some really amazing children's hospitals. So when we're in Chicago, we work with Rush. When we're in Texas, we work with Texas Children's. We're going to be in Boston next month, and we're working with Boston Children's and Harvard. So different cities that we go to, we have an opportunity to work with different hospitals. We've had some amazing partners from the sailing world step up. Harken and Harken Derm. So we have our own sunscreen brand. So all of our kids get to, when we talk about safety, it's not just water safety. We have to talk about sun protection. And we have Harken Derm as our sunscreen sponsor. And that's pretty great for the kids. They get to learn about all of that as well. So
I love that. I would buy your sunscreen if it was on the shelf to support your organization, which brings me to this. How do people, do you have fundraisers or galas at marinas and fun things like that throughout the year? When's your next one coming up?
So we don't really do a gala type event, mostly because we're in so many different places across the country. Some of our cities, we do different fundraising. So Boston, just last week, there was a women's sailing event, and they chose us as their philanthropy. And so the women had a regatta, and then we were the beneficiary of that. In Toledo, they've 2 years in a row now held a sort of celebrity regatta. Unfortunately, I'm the celebrity, but
you are.
But we do a fundraising regatta there where we get out on the water and get to have some fun and raise money for the organization. Mostly what we do is, we have partners like we started talking about, like regional partner like Meijer grocery store for the Midwest stepped up and they partner with us. All of our programs are free of charge for the families. So those partnerships, as well as grant opportunities that we come across, we've had some really great grant organizations. We had one in Chicago step up and help us fund our second camp. As Camp Out for Kids. They're amazing. So there's some really great people that believe in what we do to help make sure we can do what we do and then continue to grow as we have.
And you don't just have these camps during the summer, right? These are kind of like year-long rolling sailing camps because, obviously, in the dead of winter, you're not sailing in New York City. We get that. But right. You could be sailing out in California, right?
Right. So like our first camp of the year, we start in February. That is in California, Newport Beach. In March, we go to Florida. Obviously, in the Midwest is when we spend our summer, right? So I was just in Detroit last week. We've been in Toledo. We've been in Chicago. I'm going back to Michigan in a couple of weeks. We're going to Boston. And then we'll go back to Florida in September, and we wrap up the year here in Charleston in October.
The fact that it's free to families, it's a skill set, it's water safety all at the same time, it kind of checks off all of the boxes. Tell us how your son is doing today, because he's now an avid sailor because his dad is. So how is he doing? You said they're going to high school. Both your kids are going to the same high school this year. What's your son on track to do? Maybe go to a Spirit Tech, or is he going to go on to college? What are we looking at?
Yeah, I think Daniel, so he's going to be a junior. So this is kind of a big college year for us to start looking at things and all of that. He got his first job over the summer. So he is gainfully employed. He doesn't work a ton of hours, but he does have a job. So that's like a huge check. He is planning on going to college. He wants to be a child life specialist in children's hospitals. He really likes the idea of being able to help kids when they're kind of at a time of need. And so that's sort of his career goals as we speak.
I love that. How can people get in touch with Spectrum Sailing?
Sure. Anyone that either wants to learn about where our camps are or wants to be a partner or volunteer, you can all go on any of our social on Facebook or Instagram, but also spectrumsailing.org. We just rolled out a new website this year, which I'm pretty excited about. So all of our information is there. If you want to get in touch with me, you can always email me too at scott@spectrumsailing.org. And we'd love to talk to you.
I appreciate you being on the show. Scott, what you're doing is amazing work. You are totally a force for good, and I appreciate you.
Thank you.
With continuing year-round camps, if you can't find one right where you're at, you can sign your child up for a Spectrum Sailing camp a state away, 2 states away, and make a whole vacation out of it. Isn't this awesome? I didn't even know this was a thing. It's a thing. I know. Christopher Cross, give me my sailing shoes and my hat right now. Sunglasses, sunscreen. They have their own. I love Spectrum Sailing. I want to sign Lyric up. And the closest to folks in Atlanta is Charleston, South Carolina. So look for that at spectrumsailing.org. Thanks again for checking into Life with the Spectrum each and every week, bringing you the latest in tools, resources, organizations, foundations, people like Scott and Spectrum Sailing, making a difference in the world of neurodivergency. And we appreciate you checking in. Remember to like, comment, share, most of all, subscribe to the show. Hit that little notification up there so you know when a new episode drops each and every week, all right? You can always find it as a podcast wherever you find your podcast, and there's always more online at lifewiththespectrum.com. Till next time, we live life with the Spectrum. See ya.
Bye.